what can we expect from the Prime Minister's visit tomorrow, and why is it such a big deal, according to you? A Prime Minister's visit to the J&K after 5 years.
Right. So first of all, it is his first visit after the abrogation of Article 370. And as I think all of us have mentioned, there is a sea change in the ground situation over here. So I'm here on the ground, I'm interacting with the youth, I'm interacting with people of all kinds. And you won't believe that, the biggest issue right now is that we do not have a venue which can actually accommodate all the people who want to join. And as a result, the event will be held at one place, at one stadium.
Right.
And it will be streamed at another stadium. So actually, we don't have a place to host all the people.
We're hearing numbers about 1 lakh people, and which is why Bakshi Stadium is being chosen for the Prime Minister's rally.
But even if we had like a venue of like 2 lakh, which could host 2 lakh people right now, I think that the excitement is such.
Yes.
Because at this point, it is not so much about. I mean, of course, whenever a Prime Minister visits,
yes,
it is always like there will be some kind of package, there will be some kind of announcement. Sure, all of that is there. But at this point, it's about who he is and what he represents for the region of, an era of peace and development and prosperity. And youth can now, sort of move away from the conflict of the burden of the conflict. And they actually also just think about their personal development, their job, their future, what are their dreams. So I think that is the biggest development. Of course, I mean, all the developmental initiatives and everything, the railway linkage, the Vande Bharat train, everything, all of that is of course there.
Yes.
But it's also about who he is and what he represents to the people. There was a woman who just put out a video and she said that I want to meet the PM and I want to जैसे दूल्हे को वो माला पहनाते हैं तो उन्होंने कहा मैं 1 लाख रुपए की माला पहनाऊंगी मोदी जी को तो इस तरह का उत्साह जो सेंटिमेंट है वो it is beyond the package and developmental.
It's beyond the package. Certainly it is, and in fact, Kartikeya,
I would say that if you analyze the writings on Kashmir in the last 30-40 years, it was like 2 destinies. I think what Prime Minister has done is about a shared destiny or a common destiny, Sajha Virasat. The whole idea that these 2 places are of different destinies has been obliterated. But I think there is one challenge, and I must say this. I don't want Aditya to say this because I don't think it's Aditya's responsibility. As a citizen of this country, I should say this. What people say when Parsis came to India, they are like what sugar is to the milk. I think Kashmiri Pandits, that's what Kashmiri Pandits are to the valley. They're sugar to the milk. I think the biggest challenge, and I say it from the bottom of my heart, and Shah Faesal can come to it, is at the societal level that the Pandits go back and they don't need camps. Pandits go back and they don't require settlements.
Absolutely.
The integration of Pandits when it happens in whatever numbers, where they can just work freely there, not go back as tourists or people talking about a past or memories of food and the flowers and the valleys and the breeze and the water, but as a lived reality, then I would say that the Naya Kashmir would finally arrive.
Absolutely.
This,
That's
I
a very
cannot
important
conceive
point.
of this Naya Kashmir without Pandits being integrated. In various world communities from Rwanda to South Africa, at certain levels of reconciliation have been reached. But this happens at a societal level.
Very important.
And for me, you cannot forget that. You cannot. Everything is good. I can clap and I can say, good job done. But it is incomplete. वो नासूर तभी घटेगा जब ये लोग वापस घाटी में जाएंगे.
I just want to break here for...
And I'm saying this because I'm not a Kashmiri Pandit.
Yes.
And it's not responsibility
of
the
Kashmiri
Kashmiri Pandits to say
Aditya
this
that
again
and Shehla that as well. But, let's listen into what J&K LG Manoj Sinha said at the TV9 Global Summit last week on the grant of statehood to J&K.
एक बदलाव और लोग चाहते हैं कश्मीर में और खासकर पॉलिटिकल पार्टियां चुनाव को लेकर क्या तैयारियां हैं उसकी स्टेटहुड को लेकर क्या तैयारियां हैं
मुझे लगता है कि इसमें किसी को कंफ्यूजन नहीं है देश के गृह मंत्री श्री अमित शाह जी ने जब पार्लियामेंट में धारा 370 और 35 से हटाने का प्रस्ताव रखा था उसी समय उन्होंने 3 बातें कही थी एक पहली बात उन्होंने कही थी कि असेंबली की सीटें बढ़ रही हैं तो उनकी बाउंड्री कौन तय करेगा निश्चित रूप से डिलिमिटेशन कमीशन बना जस्टिस रंजना देसाई की अध्यक्षता में। उसने काफ़ी मेहनत करके डिलिमिटेशन का काम पूरा कर दिया। डिलिमिटेशन के बाद अब 2018 की वोटर लिस्ट पर तो चुनाव नहीं होता, नई वोटर लिस्ट बननी थी। 5 साल में बहुत सारे यंग वोटर्स बने थे, वो काम पूरा हो गया। लोकसभा के चुनाव होने जा रहे हैं। 12 तारीख को फुल इलेक्शन कमीशन जम्मू कश्मीर आ रहा है। तो गृहमंत्री जी ने 2 बात कही थी, डिलिमिटेशन फर्स्ट, इलेक्शन सेकेंड, और तीसरी बात कही कि स्टेटहुड एट अप्रोप्रिएट टाइम। और वही एफिडेविट भारत सरकार ने देश की सर्वोच्च न्यायालय में भी दिया है। तो मैं समझता हूं कि लोकसभा के चुनाव देश के चुनाव के साथ होने जा रहे हैं। सितंबर के पहले सितंबर तक विधानसभा के चुनाव हो जाएंगे, और जब उचित समय आएगा तो स्टेटहुड भी भारत सरकार देगी।
आप ये कह रहे हैं कि सितंबर तक वहां पर चुनाव हो जाएंगे?
हम नहीं कह रहे हैं, ये हमने एफिडेविट दिया हुआ है सुप्रीम कोर्ट में, सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने भी कहा तो होंगे ही निश्चित,
सितंबर तक
एकदम निश्चित।
और स्टेटहुड की कोई टाइमलाइन?
लेकिन एक बात मैं कहना चाहता हूं कि ये काम इलेक्शन कमीशन का है
जी।
तो इलेक्शन कमीशन जब भी निर्देश देगा हम चुनाव कराने के लिए तैयार हैं।
स्टेटहुड की कोई टाइमलाइन देना चाहेंगे आप?
एट अप्रोप्रिएट टाइम।
ओके, एट अप्रोप्रिएट टाइम। वेरी वेल सेड। कश्मीरी पंडितों को बसाने को लेकर बहुत वहां पर आपकी सरकार का एक बहुत फ्लैगशिप प्रोग्राम है, और कश्मीरी पंडित दोबारा 370 हटाने के बाद एक नंबर कोई दे सके उपराज्यपाल मनोज सिन्हा जी, कितने बसाए गए और कितने गैर कश्मीरियों ने, क्योंकि कहा गया है कि कश्मीर में अब कोई भी जाके जमीन खरीद सकता है, तो कितने गैर कश्मीरियों ने वहां जमीन खरीदी या वहां कश्मीर में रह रहे हैं?
इसको 2 तरह से समझिए कि 90 के दशक में बड़ी संख्या में कश्मीरी पंडित और भी लोग कश्मीर घाटी से निकल गए, आकर के जम्मू और देश के दूसरे हिस्सों में बसे। भारत सरकार ने जो रिहेबिलिटेशन पैकेज बनाया उसमें क्या क्या चीजें रखी। एक, मनमोहन सिंह जी की सरकार के समय 3000 नौकरियां और 3000 घर उनके लिए वैली में। फिर मोदी जी जब प्रधानमंत्री हुए तो एक दूसरा 3000 नौकरी और 3000 घर। दुर्भाग्य की बात यह थी कि ये पद भरे नहीं जाते थे और जमीन नहीं उपलब्ध है इस नाम पर घर बनाए नहीं जाते थे। आज मैं ये कहना चाहता हूं कि 6000 के 6000 पद 23 को छोड़ करके सारे भर दिए गए थे। अभी कुछ लोग और अच्छी नौकरी पा गए हैं तो रिजाइन कर दिए। 250 पद रिक्त हैं जिनका विज्ञापन हम 10 दिन में निकालने जा रहे हैं। 6000 घरों के लिए जमीन उपलब्ध करा दी गई। 2500 से ज़्यादा घर बन करके तैयार हो गए हैं और मैं कहना चाहता हूं कि अगले साल सारे घर बन जाएं। दूसरी बात, इन जो टारगेटेड किलिंग की बात आप कर रहे थे, 1-2 हमारे कश्मीरी पंडित साथी जो सरकारी नौकरी में थे उनकी दुखद और निर्मम हत्या हुई थी, तो उनसे मैं निरंतर संपर्क में हूं। मेरे ऑफिस में एक सेल है जो निरंतर संपर्क रखती है और वैली के हर जिले में भी डीसी ऑफिस में एक सेल है जो इनके साथ संपर्क में रखती है। मैं बहुत जिम्मेदारी से बात कहना चाहता हूं कि कश्मीरी माइग्रेंट, खासतौर से कश्मीरी पंडित पूरी तरह से सुख शांति से हैं। और मैं आपसे ये जरूर कहूँगा कि आप आइए, आने वाले दिनों में श्रीनगर और वैली में कश्मीरी पंडित भी दिखेंगे, उनके घर भी दिखेंगे और बाकी लोगों के घर भी दिखेंगे।
So the LG is saying that elections in Kashmir could be held as early as before September this year. So statehood to Kashmir.
I hope a lot of middle class people come out and vote. I really hope that.
In fact, Shah Faesal, this question, this point that Kartikeya raised, the return of Kashmiri Pandits to Kashmir, without which Naya Kashmir would not.
To me, it's a personal.
It won't
if you ask me, Kartikeya,
a pre-1990 Jammu and Kashmir, a state of Jammu and Kashmir with Kashmiri Pandits coming back in the numbers that they were in before 1990. You see this as happening in the next couple of years, and how important do you think it is for this reintegration?
I think at the societal level, if you look at one step which will possibly lead to the completion of that process of healing, as Kartikeya rightly said, it's the return of Kashmiri Pandits.
Right.
But at the same time, when you talk about what are the indicators of normalcy, I think if there is one indicator of normalcy, it would be a time when Jammu and Kashmir police would have to deal with only the routine law and order or routine criminal responsibilities, crime control responsibilities, rather than terrorism. But unfortunately, you also have to realize that there is a neighbor which runs international consortium of terrorism or which leads in the cottage industry of terror. As long as they are there, it's going to be very difficult for us to kind of reach to that point, although government has been trying very hard to curb the terrorism and to provide a sense of safety to everybody out there. So I think that is going to take some more time. But I definitely want to agree with Kartikeya that the only parameter of restoration of normalcy is going to be when the Pandits can very safely and respectfully return to their homes and live as normal citizens of the UT of Jammu and Kashmir.
Right, absolutely. In fact, Shehla, I'm going to ask you this question. Do you see this happening, and how critical is it for the return of Pandits to say that this is the Jammu and Kashmir that we had before 1990?
I think that if we had to set various bars and parameters for normalcy and for peace, this would be at the highest level, I suppose. Yes. This would be the highest threshold for normalcy. So inshallah, I hope that at some point in the future, we do reach this point. But, you know, as the panelist before me also mentioned, we have a mischievous neighbor, you know, in our vicinity. And you know that, you know, targeted killings and all of that, that continues to happen. So, you know, what does one say in a situation like this, except that until the time that, and right now Pakistan, you see that it is down, you see that it is, you know, facing a lot of internal crisis, but we also have to remember the geopolitical element, like it can be backed by another powerful neighbor, for example, right? So it's not such a straightforward situation, but I think that the only thing we can say is that we hope that we can achieve a peace, a level of, what should I say, confidence, where we can actually achieve this threshold of peace. It is possible, of course it is possible, but at this point we still see targeted killings and all of that. So
yes, challenges ahead, Kartikeya. And you know, Aditya, this point that Shehla mentioned about the fact that we have not just one meddlesome neighbor, but two, one backed by the other. How much of a problem is this going to be to return J&K to pre-1990 status, given the fact that you have a collusive alliance between China and Pakistan, and they've both continued to occupy parts of the erstwhile kingdom of Jammu and Kashmir?
You know, it's going to be troublesome, it's going to be challenging, but we have dealt with challenges over the last 3 decades. And even though these challenges have existed, the government has proven its mettle by abrogating 370 and ensuring normalcy in the valley at a time when Pakistan actually said that there will be a bloodbath, Kashmiris will come out, there will be killings, etc. Nothing of that sort has happened. In fact, we don't see any kind of stone pelting. We also don't see any kind of a law and order situation in the worst areas, including Pulwama, Kulgam, Shopian, and other places. So, yes, Pakistan will be a challenge because, as they say, you know, proxy terror is something that they will continue. It's part of their foreign policy. China, again, is a tricky neighbor that we have realized post-2020 Galwan. But at the same time, you know, we were being complicit by not changing the ground realities. That we have realized 5 years ago, and a lot of changes have been done. Just like, you know, initially someone mentioned, I think Kartikeya, that a lot of notorious political families in Kashmir have been made irrelevant. They might have mass support. They might still win elections and contest elections. But that does not mean that the people are with them. People are increasingly realizing the corrupt politics, the cottage industry of terror and separatism that ran for years together with political backing. And that will certainly not be the order of the day. By domestic changes, by bringing a domestic paradigm shift in the policy, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has ensured that no freebies will be distributed. These 5,000 crores that will come out is a part of a development package. It's part of an infrastructure, robust rebuilding package, not freebies or special status that so-called Kashmiris enjoyed. We Kashmiris are equal Indians. And I think the government is on the right path. Just that more jobs, more development is something that the government needs to work.
Right. Closing comments, Kartikeya.
I would say, if you ask me what I'm looking forward to, Dekho Apna Desh campaign, which the Prime Minister is going to launch tomorrow. Because I feel as someone as a Kashmir lover, that, you know, in context of tourism, it's like certain locations specific. You ask anyone from India, where did you go to Kashmir? Sir, I went to Gulmarg. So where did you go to Kashmir? I went to Srinagar. Then where did you go? I went to Pahalgam. So, you know, but there's more to Srinagar Valley than these places. Like, for example, the areas around Dachigram or Rusuf Marg, or there are areas in Jammu, Doda, you know, I have traveled through those areas. Kashmir is beautiful, you know. It's Jammu and Kashmir. It's beautiful. So I think that dekho apna desh campaign, you know, other sectors can open up, other valleys can open up. I am looking forward to it, and at a personal level, I really feel if there's some reform that can take place, you know, at the hotel level. You know, I've been cribbing this to Aditya, you know. It's really difficult to have that top shot, you know, hotel, because the prices are through the roof. If some reform can take place, you know, then, you know, you'll find me in Kashmir every winter and every summer. Peak, absolutely. Tourism, Kartikeya, you know, emphasizing that one bedrock of Kashmir's economy, which is tourism. Of course, we're going to see more of this from the Prime Minister's visit tomorrow on his vision for Naya Kashmir. We finally seem to have got our internal troubles in order. The challenges now remain external, as our panelists just mentioned. But thank you very much, Shah Faesal, my colleague Aditya Raj Kaul, and Shehla Rashid for joining us this evening to talk about the Naya Kashmir. Thank you, Kartikeya.
Streaming on News9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.